I was studying architecture, and I was kind of young, enthusiastic, keen student who'd found kind of my love of drawing and making come together within architecture. And we were very fortunate that one of the directors at the time from the practice travelled to the north of England where I was studying, and he was giving a talk. So I kind of plucked up enough courage to talk to him and ask him whether there were any positions available for me. And then eventually I wrote to him and got the position here. It was, of course, through introduction, but working closely on projects at the time. And our introduction really was then through those projects and through drawing. Learning that we had this shared passion and love for drawing and communication and a way of speaking about architecture, that became our kind of common language, and that's how we got to know each other at the very beginning. I was submersed within a very kind of addictive energy that this office has, and which I particularly enjoyed. Norman is incredibly good at surrounding himself with experts and brilliance from within the practice, but also from around the world. And so therefore, once you're within that environment, you feel very privileged to be part of that. The process of working with Norman is, I think, quite unique, because it's within an environment of respect and being respectful of one another as individuals with different skills. Well, in the design process, I think communication is everything. So we communicate with Norman as much as we possibly can from the very beginning. And that dialogue becomes very energetic, and that can happen in person. So we do it here, in various kind of environments in which we kind of pen up drawings physically. We can do it digitally. We could be doing it across the globe, in different time zones. So it becomes kind of very, very exciting. We never really leave anything unturned, and we kind of explore every idea we possibly can, which I think is super exciting, and it's important because we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our clients to do so. In the very late 90s, when I joined, we were doing a lot of buildings in London. So I was working on some quite ordinary challenges given to us by clients that we turned into quite extraordinary results. Pieces of the city, pieces of urban fabric that were transforming, I realized very early on, not just the way people work and live in the city, but parts of the city themselves. And some of those projects were projects such as Swiss Re, St Mary's Axe, which is of course an evolution of those office buildings and the pieces of the city. And that was a project that I'm still particularly fond of because it changed the whole skyline of London. It changed the way we think about cities. It changed the way we think about London and how buildings are part of cities. It's changed the way that I particularly thought about public space and how we can carve out public space and opportunities within density that we kind of take for granted. My role is my role as art director is really as a storyteller, and I say my role, but I also mean my team's role, because I'm surrounded by a very kind of talented team that tell stories in different ways. But essentially we tell stories about architecture that describe feeling. So in a way we kind of communicate design, but at the same time we design the form of communication that describes feeling within architecture.